Hey, this is Justin. It is Sunday morning. This is a walk and talk, getting some of the ideas rattling around inside the head, outside the head, into a place where they can become useful. And I've been messing around with the idea of like the thing that we want is over there, or not where we are, and then just starting to be look at like, hey, put the right habits in place, and then move forward. So I was got up this morning, hit the gym, and went and got some food. We're traveling for the next couple of days. Went to a big wrestling event last night, and going to be hitting some football training camps over the next couple of days. And what else I want to say about that? Yeah, so a little bit of traveling today. My son is still asleep as we're getting started. So just going to go on a walk and a talk for about 30 minutes, and then trusting the repetitions of the work that we're actually doing. Because I'm always like, it occurs to me like the things that want to get accomplished are like having to sit in front of sitting in front of a computer. And there are some things that need to get done in front of a computer, but the bulk of stuff inside of wanting to spend most of the time walking and talking and yeah, doing walking and talking and not having to touch a keyboard, even touch any sort of device, just using voice to make things happen and come to reality, right? Just voice and recordings, not like um, not like magic, but yeah, just using voice recordings to make stuff start to come to fruition is sort of the name of the game and the practice. And the sooner accept that this is just a sooner accept that this is the way to um, that this is a viable approach. This is a the right approach. And if we just make incremental improvements every single day, things will just get simpler. Things will just get easier. Things will just get better every single day. The second, and then some stuff has to get done behind a computer. I'm working out the brainstorm here myself. Some stuff has to get done behind a computer, but the bulk can get done walking and talking. The most important thing is the more they practice the walking and talking activities and exercises, the more we do the practice, the more likely we are to get better at it and sort of make the improvement around it, right? Because there are being resistant to being behind a computer and a keyboard. Have to do maybe a couple hours every single day, and maybe that is, and being very, very deliberate's not the word I'm looking for, but being very precise about what the stuff is and the amount of time, because the computer winds up being an energy drainer. It winds up taking away energy, right? So it's something that we've got to do and something we've got to recover from. Whereas walking and talking feels like an energy multiplier for me in particular. So I think that's the main, probably the main premise. Like, how do we do stuff that allows us to multiply our energy as opposed to draining the energy, right? How do you do more and more? Um, or what are those things that we could do that are so simple that they don't take away that much energy? So I think if you look at kind of life as a if we look at our life as a like a video game with having 100% the amount of energy, and then we can pick up more energy by doing things like eating well. We can pick up more energy by working out. We can pick up more energy by doing activities that are better. We can pick up more energy by being we can pick up energy by being more positive, less worrying, right? Those are all different things that start to pick up and add to the energy, right? And those start having the flywheel positive knock-on effect for the work that we're doing. So I think that's the way that that's the way that we want to look at it, but we can't discount the practice. So I was like, let me do a computer live stream today, and those are better experiences, definitely better experiences, like especially for the people that are listening and watching on the back end in the short term, right? They're just I guess you look at it like what Stand Up Comics talk about when you go to your best material, right? The best material is that stuff that can get done. That can get done that you've practiced and then well rehearsed, right? A lot of the software, and that's really the big driver here. A lot of the tools that we need to use are more designed or better designed for being behind a computer, and also our brains are more wired towards doing work behind a computer. So as a result, that stuff is better. So if we're trying to kind of shift the paradigm, or I don't know if it's inventing something new, or definitely, but creating something. Yeah, it's shifting the paradigm, inventing something new, or creating something new. If we start to look at yeah, then it's just it's doing more practice, sharing more practice, resisting the opportunity, or like resisting the urge to go back to the morning. How are you? To go back to the computer and the laptop, and it's resisting that, and then also dealing with the self-consciousness of droning on, and dealing with the self-consciousness of the droning on, or not being amped up, or being a little bit less than present. I was just walking through a convention, and or a convention area, and I'm very conscious when I do things like this, when I'm recording, that people are like, they think that I'm recording them, or they start asking questions. So just like paying attention to who's paying attention on the outside, to who's paying attention to me, to make sure that nobody is anybody's getting nervous about it. So that was some of the lack of, and also being in an area where I'm not sure exactly where I am. Being in a new area changes that a little bit. So, but we continue to practice the walk and talk, go through the repetitions of doing some of the, doing the processing, look for new tools on the back end looking for new tools on the back end to create a better experience, and to create a better experience, and then when we sit down and do our work, it's very efficient, and it's very paint by the numbers for the stuff that we don't necessarily want to do. It's like the basic, like, put one foot in front of the other for the stuff that we don't want to that's not that we don't want to do, that's not as enjoyable, or I guess it's not enjoyable, or could potentially be more of an energy drain on the back end, right? We do that more, get that stuff either automated away, or get it automated in our head, get it more like systemic, so we can just put one foot in front of the other and do the activity, as opposed to put one foot in front of the other and do the activity, as opposed to just putting a whole bunch of energy into something that is not necessarily so meaningful, or not necessarily so meaningful, or not necessarily so valuable. So that's what I wanted to put out there. I titled this one Simplicity, and it is working through the mental process, the complex mental processes that we have to go through to get to the simple solution. And I'm excited to see what some of the AI tools do with this audio message, where it takes it, where it parses out, where it starts to separate the gold. And the whole idea is, like, how do you separate? We talk a lot, we say a bunch of words, right? We have a bunch of thoughts, right? We have, if we just boil it down to the numbers, we have about 60,000 thoughts every single day. Let's say we speak about 300 words a minute when we're talking, and I'm probably doing more than that right now, right? Because it's just a monologue. But you put those are the two. Thought is the most high volume activity that we work with, and then spoken words are number two. That's what's second after that. The spoken is second. So how do we get the most amount of value out of our thinking and our thinking and our words? And I think that is how do we create the most amount of value? How do we create the most amount of impact? How do we have the most positive? How do we have the most positive? How do we have the most positive, or how do we create the most positive experience for ourselves? And inside of creating the most positive experience for ourselves, how do we create the most positive experience for other people? And that's it. That's the yep, that's the beginning, and that's the beginning, the middle, and the end of the conversation, right? How do you take these words? How do you improve the thinking? Improve the, yeah. I think it's all in thinking, right? Thinking. How do we improve what we do unconsciously, subconsciously, so we prove the words that we speak? How do we capture those words? Because some of them go away because they are so high volume, we can't like really be paying that much attention to every single word that gets spoken. How do we capture those? And then how do we move on to yeah, and then how do we effectively separate the signal, the main signal from the noise? And that is that's it, right? That's both how you doing? It's both a personal exercise, and it's a personal exercise, and it is yeah, it's a personal exercise, and it's a um, yeah, it's a personal exercise, and it is um, it's a personal exercise. What's the word I'm looking for? It's a personal exercise, and um, it's a community exercise. It's something that we can do with other people, and then it's also a technology enabled exercise. And I think that's where you start to capture. That's where you start to capture all the major blocks, right? Communities, yeah, communities, groups of people, more than one person. When I distinguish people groups, I would say there's the single, there is the pairing, because right there, couples, and there's like a higher dependency. There's trios, which I think you start getting into interesting ways to be able to do work. And then beyond that, now you're in small communities going into larger communities, right? And there's different dynamics that go along with each one of those that we start to yeah, there's different dynamics that go into each one of those communities, and that's it. And then that's the people aspect of it, and then there's the technological aspect, and I guess there is we'll pair the kind of the universal aspect when I talk about where the universe starts to weigh in, or somebody's religious beliefs, or whatever kind of paradigm that we have for higher power, everything up through no higher power, whatever somebody's like paradigm is for a higher power. I'm going to put that into people, like that impacts the people aspects of it. I don't think that's necessarily imparted as much on the technology aspects right now. So that's where it is, right? And so we go on, we do the walk, right? We get a little bit more exercise out of the day. Yeah, we get a little bit more exercise out of the day, and then we just work on, like, the work is spending the time processing I got it, right? Processing the videos in a way that like heads us more towards yeah, heads us towards our key goals, and yeah, heads us towards the key goals. And Kaiju Big Battle. Let's just catch this real quick. I want to grab this. Kaiju Big Battle is coming. And let's do a little bit capture of the SmackDown. Yeah, I think today's going to be a football day. Even if we don't get in, we'll... all right, I just lost my train of thought there. Yep, even if we don't get in, I think worth going and trying out and seeing what's going on around the area. Even if we don't actually get into the particular event, there's probably stuff that's going on the outside that can be that can be pleasurable. All right, that can create an interesting experience for us. And let me just do one of the other things. So I've been working with my son a lot on making decisions where you don't have all the information in, right? So we're going to an event today. The tickets are free, and the implication, and then because they're free, they were sold out very quickly. The problem with that is there's no secondary market for free tickets, or no traditional secondary market for free tickets. So the upside to that is if you're actually physically there, typically people can have some extra tickets that you can start to obtain. So that is that's the upside to the option. But there's no like StubHub option, or there's no SeatGeek option to get some of these these tickets off the secondary market. So that's the So you got to physically actually go there and be present, which is good because you get to actually get the real experience. But I was like, it is not, I would say it's 50-50 that will actually get into the door. There's not a lot of, that's the other thing, there's not a lot of like, I went to Reddit and just being like, what, how are people talking about this? How are people thinking about it? Yeah, and so went to Reddit and just seeing there was just nothing on Reddit that allowed me to see what our options were for getting some of the tickets. So really the only option is just to go there live and see what happens. Yeah, to go there live and see what happens. And yeah, that's it. So I'm going to, yeah, I will leave that one, I'm gonna leave that one there for leave that one there for right now. And yeah, I'll leave that one there for right now to chew on and to be able to process. So I'm going to put an end to this live stream at the 15-minute, 49-second mark. I hope you're having an amazing day, and I'll speak soon.